Have you ever tried very hard to do something well, but found that the results were very bad in the end? Or have you tried hard to stop yourself from thinking about random things and concentrate seriously, but your brain is like a party and can't stop at all? When you are on stage, taking an exam, or competing, at such a critical moment, let alone exerting your potential, you can't even perform normally. A friend of mine told me that he really wanted to do things well, but he couldn't do it every time, which made him feel very discouraged and stressed. This reminded me of a concept that we have been instilled with since childhood. Whether it is study or work, you must be hardworking and serious in order to achieve something. So we work hard and work hard, from school to society, and finally make ourselves anxious, internal consumption, bitter, and resentful. Oh no, like an adult. For a long time, I also thought that if you want to do something well, you must be serious and hardworking. Until I saw the reverse effect law proposed by Aldous Huxley, the author of Brave New World. When we use our will to work hard to do something, we use. The more we use our will, the less likely we are succeed. Based on my friend's experience and Huxley's theory, I can't stop but think, why do we sometimes work harder but get worse results? So is there a possibility that we have a misunderstanding of hard work? Maybe we didn't achieve our goals not because we didn't work hard, but because we worked too hard, cared too much, and were too serious. Is there another way that allows us to find more inspiration and opportunities while maintaining a happy mood, unleash our potential, and achieve goals that we have never achieved before? Hello everyone. In this video, we will find out the reasons, propose methods, and talk about problems that we need to reflect on most in involuntary society. The paradox of hard work. Do you see these 9 points in the picture? Can you connect all 9 points with one stroke in 1 minute? Note that the line you draw can only turn 3 times. You can pause the video and try it first. You may find this very difficult. Anyway, I thought about it for a long time and couldn't figure it out. From childhood to adulthood, when we encounter any problem, we are taught to focus on the problem itself and trying to find a solution. But in fact, this way of thinking may have 2 side effects. The first is that our anxiety, worry, and stress will increase. The more we focus on the current problem, the more difficult it will be, or the consequences will be serious. What if this problem cannot be solved? Why haven't I figured out the answer to this problem yet? What's going on? Our emotions will become stronger and the pressure will be greater. As we mentioned in the video on exam brain science, our brain is actually most afraid of pressure. Once faced with pressure, its ability to analyze and solve problems will plummet, thus affecting our judgment, and the problem cannot be solved. The second is that we will fall into fixed thinking mode. In the book The Way of Learning, author Barbara Oakley mentioned that our human brain has 2 thinking modes, divergent and focused. Focused thinking allows people to concentrate on single-term tasks, but it is often difficult to see the micro level of problems and find more connections and possibilities. We repeatedly consume ourselves in the new limited options, but we don't know that the correct method and answers are always there, but we just don't see it. Divergent thinking, allowing people to jump freely between different ideas and concepts in a relaxed state, generate inspiration, think creatively, and solve problems. When we are obsessed with a problem, our thoughts will be tightly grasped like a spaceship passing a black hole, constantly focused but unable to diverge, just like the test question just now. The harder we think, the less likely we are to come up with an answer, because that question requires us to solve it by breaking the inherent way of thinking, and we will reveal the answer at the end. In Einstein's words, we can't solve the problem within the way we think when we create a problem, just like we can't hang ourselves in the air by pulling our hair upwards. Usually, the reason that prevents us from finding a solution is not because we are stupid, but because our attention is grasped. So instead of focusing all your attention on trying to find a solution and indulging in a negative emotional state, why don't try a new method? Stop and see what happens. Or what if you take all your attention away just for the current problem? Just like now, what if I don't focus on how to make this video well, but just chat with everyone? Then I think I should. In fact, many adults can't solve the question just now, but many children can do it easily, because we adults are good at overthinking, and we worry about work and study every day. In fact, divergence and focus are both necessary ways of thinking for us humans. There is no good or bad, but adults often focus too much. To use a popular word, there is no sense of relaxation at all, and you will find it that when you focus too much on a problem, it is actually difficult for people to think effectively. We search like crazy to find out what we went wrong, but in the end, we are just going around in circles. I don't know if you have this feeling. When you are very anxious, you actually think about the same problems over and over again. That's it. Several ideas are constantly circulating. The more this happens, the harder it is for us to really calm down and think calmly. We will become distracted and tired, and the more we analyze, the busier we will be. Thus, a vicious cycle is formed. We are like being stuck in this circle. We're constantly working hard, but it is difficult to make breakthroughs, achievements. Therefore, is there a way to get us out of this ineffective circle? In fact, many times we are trapped in the trap of white bear effect. Social psychologist Daniel Wager once asked participants not to imagine a white bear in an experiment. The result was that people thinking had a strong rebound. An image of the white bear emerged in their minds and became more difficult to forget. This experiment actually reveals a psychological phenomena. When we are asked not to do or think about something, our attention is focused on it. This is also a major reason why many athletes and students are prone to problems at critical moments. Constantly suggesting to yourself that you must not fail the exam and must take it seriously will increase the psychological pressure and enhance negative psychological cues, therefore affecting the fluency and accuracy of thinking and action, especially when I first started to be an art master half a year ago. Whenever I wanted to write an article as an art master, my thoughts would get stuck, and I would always worry, hey, is this sentence well said? Is this expression correct? But when I treat everyone as my friends, I write articles like chatting. If you don't think about whether the writing is good or not, the efficiency and quality will be higher. So the way to make our efforts more effective is not to control and just let it flow without thinking about the consequences coming up. At this time, some people may say, if you don't control, then it will be a mess. How can this be done? But in fact, this mentality of not controlling is not the same as being a mess. It is like holding a handful of sand in your hands. If you hold it too tightly or too loosely, the sand will slip away quickly. You must maintain a delicate balance. And this is what we call positive mindfulness. Mindfulness originated from Buddhism and meditation, but it has no necessary relationship with religion. Instead, it is a non-judgmental awareness and acceptance. In recent years, it has been widely used in Western psychology and medicine. Positive emphasizes focusing on the present, just observing without judgment. In other words, we no longer fight with the white bear in our minds and withdraw from this meaningless battle. Meditation is a very important practice for us to cultivate mindfulness. The mind exercise learned can cultivate our ability to relax, focus, and accept. Of course, meditation is not about thinking about anything, but about learning to live in peace with thoughts, feelings, and emotions in our minds. One of the most basic entry-level techniques is to focus on breathing. During meditation, we stay positive by absorbing our breathing neutrally. You will find that this is very difficult at the beginning if you're a beginner, because all kinds of thoughts will pop up in your minds unconsciously, and the more we want to focus on breathing, the more confused our thoughts seem to be. So the first step to cultivating mindfulness is to let us understand thoughts in the mind cannot be eliminated by active control, but can be disappeared on their own. You'll find that our daily thinking habits are standing on the side of the road and watching the passive vehicles. These vehicles are our thoughts, one after another. Sometimes we don't like the cars coming, so we will rush to the middle of the road to stop them. But these vehicles are just thoughts in our mind, so we can't stop them at all. And they are speeding on the road. Some vehicles are what we like, so we will run to the middle of the road to chase those vehicles. But they are just thoughts, so there is no point chasing them. The role of meditation is to teach us not to try to control the vehicles speeding on the road. Whether they are good or bad, we don't stop or chase them. We just sit on the side of the road and watch the traffic coming and going. That's all. So in meditation, whenever we are distracted by thoughts, we just need to realize this and then bring our attention back to breathing so that our perspective would return to the side of the road. So the core of meditation practice is the process of realizing the split star once and then returning to the side of the road. With long-term practice, you'll find that there are fewer and fewer vehicles in your mind, and sometimes you'll suddenly realize that there seem to be no vehicles on the road just now. This is like the reverse effect law proposed by Huxley. When we deliberately work hard, we are getting further and further away from the goal. And when we let go, the goal is achieved. According to research by neuroscientists at Harvard University, people who meditate for a long time will have more gray matter in the frontal cortex related to decision-making and memory in the brain. The reaction level of the amygdala will also decrease, which can ultimately improve our attention and enhance our ability to regulate emotions. With long-term practice, we can apply this wisdom of not controlling to our lives. We will not force ourselves to do well, not to make mistakes, and to take it seriously. We will put down this compulsive thinking and deal with the current challenges in a more relaxed manner. It is easier to enter the flow state. As a result, we can jump out of the original thinking framework, discover more possibilities, and find solutions to problems. Of course, in addition to regular clear, it is also very necessary to learn to actively summon divergent thinking when we need it. When we are stumped by the problem at hand, we should not fight hard. Let its problem go first. Think about other problems, or simply relax. Go out for a walk and chat with others. The key is to do other things until your brain consciously, naturally forgets the previous problem, and then pick up the problem again. At this time, you may have unexpected gains. Just like Archimedes, a smart person who have to take a bath to discover the principle of buoyancy. As long as we put the work in our hands and take a break, divergent thinking will begin to take over our brains and creatively find a solution. At this point, I really have a deep opportunity. I like to make music in my spare time. Whenever I sit in my chair seriously, I want to write a good song, my thinking often stagnates. At this time, I do something else, take a walk, and let myself completely relax. Many ideas and inspirations will suddenly emerge. The question that I couldn't solve in 1 hour before was solved in 5 minutes. By letting go, we will gain more than we lose. Back to the test question at the beginning. Conventional thinking usually draws the line around the entire rectangle, but in fact, if you break the line out of the entire rectangle, we can easily connect all 9 points. Today's video is mainly about the paradox of effect, but this is not to deny the role of the effect, but to let us understand the limitations of effect and what methods should be used to respond when thinking is stuck. Regularly practicing meditation, maintaining the formation of thoughts, diverting attention, and calling out divergent thinking are important ways for us to break the paradox of effect and regain a sense of relaxation. Of course, it needs to be reminded that only after regular practice can meditation play its due role. That's all for today's video. Thank you for listening and see you next time.